right, so good night, everybody. Good night, Belize. Good night, Belmopan. And welcome to the fifth edition of Let's Talk About Change. My name is David Smith, and I'll be your host for tonight. And I'm joined tonight by Miss ABG herself, no other than Miss Anna Banner Guy. So, Miss Anna, could you quickly unmute your mic and tell us how you are doing tonight?
All right. So, hi, David, and hi, Belmopan, and good night, Belize. I am doing good. Just got off the campaign trail a little while ago, and so excited about tonight's show. We're having fun in this campaign time. It's something that we look forward to because just training the campaigners and seeing them moving from one level in terms of being able to communicate and learn their community and their people better is something that it's a big achievement for our team.
All right, that's awesome. And so, um, I know we personally were in the San Martin area 2 days ago between yesterday and today. And what project was the team working on between those 2 days?
Oh yes, David. So many things happened today. I literally, forgot about that for a minute. We were campaigning in San Martin from before, and while campaigning in San Martin, one of our campaigners brought it to my attention and to our team attention. In fact, that there's a small sub health center there, which is a clinic. It's a clinic really, and it's a clinic that deals with pregnant mothers, providing public health treatment for them and their babies. So usually they would wait inside, but the space is very small, and so due to COVID-19 regulations, they're being asked to wait outside in the elements of the weather. And so we have extreme weather in Belize. It's either extremely sunny or it rains. And so unfortunately, these mothers have to stay outside in the sun, literally breastfeeding their babies while standing in the sun. And when it rains, they try to go for cover at a neighbor or a store up the street and so on and so forth. That's something that our team saw as urgency. We needed to step on that immediately to see how we can get some help to them. And so we had a tent. So the initial idea by me was let's just go put up a tent. And the young people who are with me on my campaign trail, they're saying, no, miss, a tent won't work because somebody can steal a tent. And so, because I wanted to fix it the same day. And so it's so awesome when you have a good team with great ideas. And so within 2 days after, all the guys and girls, they came together. And I wish if you had some photos to show now of the wonderful work that they did. And they were, and which we have on our Facebook page, Anna Banagai for Belmopan. And
And as well on Plus
they
TV.
really, yeah, we really need to thank our team. I really need to give that is all teamwork. That is not me per se, because I didn't even come up with the idea. What I did was, as usual, I support the idea, I support the initiative, I saw it as something that was in fact urgently needed, and now there's a shed. 2 days later, we have a shed, a shelter. It's relatively small, but it's big enough to serve the purpose and intention for what it's supposed to be. So yes, that's an awesome project that we did this week. I'm very proud of that project.
Yeah, yeah. And I had the opportunity to be there, and I thought one of the coolest things about it was that the community really got involved. We got people that came and loaned their tools, um, and even assisted in building. A couple of them assisted in the actual building of the shed, so that was pretty cool.
What I really like about it, David, was the integration of our Belmopan and the integration of our people. Because we had campaigners, for example, from Belmopan Central and Belmopan North, and then we had campaigners from San Martin and Mayamopan, and they all got together, and then we had the residents from the community, um, you know, loaning us rake, and because we also did a cleanup and like you said, tool, and of course their expertise, because we had some gentlemen there who were senior in terms of construction, and they really assisted us. So we also thankful to the San Martin community and residents of St. Matthews and St. Thomas streets.
All right, that's great. And so I know for tonight the topic is a very important topic, and we're talking about transparency and accountability. And so I want to jump straight into the questions that I have for you tonight. And the first one that I have as an independent candidate, currently running as an area representative. How have you kept your campaign to remain transparent and accountable?
Okay, so we have a wonderful campaign team. One of the first things I did in terms of putting together a team is to get a board of advisors, a group of people advising me. These are senior people, these are people who have similar values, these are people who know how important accountability and transparency is for me as an individual, and especially in the work I do, and now moving into not just politics, but into national politics. And this is something that we know our country lacks and our country is starving for. We, our people knows that the element of this, those words are abused, in fact, in terms of the political realm in our country. And so this is something that I work hard every day, not just in my political career, in my political work, to redefine the word politics on a whole, to tell young people this is not a bad word, and that accountability and transparency are not losing their meaning, or they're not being words that are just abused, overused, misused, and just thrown out there as a political slogan. You know, vote for me, vote for accountability and transparency. We hear that in almost every campaign. And the difference between our campaign is that we mean it and that
Mhm.
we are actually working toward it. So usually around this time, around election time, candidates would come to offer the electorate something in exchange for their vote, or with a hope that that is going to sway them or persuade them in for voting for them. And our campaign is different. What we're doing is we are asking the community to partner with us,
Mhm.
and we are hoping to get everyone involved in our campaign. So we started from the first day of our launch, we started to talk about a dollar drive. So you can donate to our campaign a dollar, a $5, $10, or any amount that you can afford. But we prefer many small donations than a few big donations. And
Mhm.
in the event that we have any donor who wants to give anything significantly, we have our advisors who, that donor has to go through uh, filling out certain criteria for our campaign to accept the donation, knowing that the donor is not looking for any specific favors upon my election, if that is the case.
Yeah.
Our campaign is funded primarily, though, by our diaspora counterparts. These are people living outside of Belize, primarily in the United States. We also have support from as far as the United Kingdom and around the world, really, but primarily in the United States. And they have been doing the same format that we have been doing in Belize. We are doing barbecue sale here, we're doing food sale, we're asking for small donations. They're doing the same. They're doing food sale, they're doing barbecue sale, but obviously on a larger scale. And they're also promoting those words. They're promoting good governance. They're promoting good governance for Belize, accountability and transparency, and they're also promoting the independent movement. This is the way this, I mean, people in living in the United States, Belizeans living abroad, have a different mindset towards an independent candidate, meaning that they're far more accepting as a whole in general. And so this is something that they want to see for Belize, and they want to see the change for Belize. And they have been following me as a leader for many years, and so now it's very easy for them to say, yes, this is something I want to support. Not only am I going to give food, I am going to donate towards the campaign. So we have these donations that are quite significant when added up, sending over to us to our campaign here. We know in Belize things are rough, especially with our in our household. Um, the people we're targeting, and also businesses. And so the level of support that we would need to match what the campaign is requiring would not really work out the way we expect it to, without not having the support from the Belize diaspora. So it's I want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to the Belize diaspora, especially those living in Los Angeles, which is where the headquarters for my campaign um, committee, financing and supporting committee is coming out of. And without that, we wouldn't be where we are. Granted, my family there is very big. My immediate family, my siblings, my immediate relatives, my siblings, I believe it's 7 of them living in California. They have raised their families there, and so they have roots now in Los Angeles, and it's easy for them to plan a big fundraiser. My sister has a church in California, Rose Banner Ministries, and she has been in California over 30 years working not just with the Belize diaspora, but with residents of Los Angeles on a whole. So her outreach is very big. And so she have always been donating to causes all her life, really, and all her life in the U.S. And so because of her outreach and the outreach of my other family members, um, it was easy for them to connect to the community and say this is a cause that we are raising funds for and we're inviting you to support. And so that's how our campaign is being funded. It's very transparent. um, we have we have excellent accounting system through QuickBooks. We have people who are qualified volunteering with us and working with us to ensure that our campaign meet the standards, the regulations, and the policies that we stand for at ABG campaign.
All right, that's great. And I wanna run right off that question and ask because a lot of the population or a lot of people believe that you could have good morals and once elected, then that is out the door, right? So I want to ask, how will you ensure that practices of transparency and accountability remains even when or if you're elected?
All right, David. So I want to go back on that question a little bit because some people might not know, but I have been elected twice to office
Mhm.
in Belmopan before as a Belmopan City Councillor. I have served as a Belmopan City Councillor for 5 years and as a Deputy Mayor for Belmopan for 1 year. And
Mhm.
so I mean, as an elected official then, I held on to my values. I didn't sway from them in any way, shape, or form. It's embedded in me. It's who I am, not just who I became as an adult, but as a child, who I was because of the principles that my parents raised me to be. And so it's not something that I have to restrain myself from doing or make deliberate attempts or have it's natural. It's natural. So but of course that is not what people want to hear. People need to know that, and in reality, I think all of us, we're human and humans, and we are prone to error. And so I am not above that. I am prone to error also. So what I plan to put in place as soon as I get elected, when or if I'm elected, is to form strong oversight committees and planning committees in local working groups for Belmopan in different ex. These would be these would be with experts in different fields. For example, a land and housing committee, infrastructure committee, education committees, and so on and so forth. That is going to be developing and suggesting plans. The idea of that committee is not just to develop plans or to support the representative, but one of the big things within the regulations and policies of the committee, and I'm saying it now, and is to hold your elected official accountable. As elected officials, all elected officials need to be held accountable. We cannot elect these people into office and then just give them all this autonomy and they decide that they want to do whatever they want to do and the electorate are not, we are guilty, we're not holding them accountable. And so I am going to invite the electorate of Belmopan. I'm going to invite the residents of Belmopan to hold me accountable if and when I'm elected, because that is something that that an elected official should welcome, and I will not only welcome it, I will spearhead it, I will initiate it, and it is something that I need because as an independent candidate, and I believe any candidate at all needs to have their community included in their plans and development. And so even though I have a manifesto, which obviously is an agenda outlining the plans for Belmopan that I would like to see carry out, those are more broad. And as it comes to exactly what, where, how, then the community will be more involved in to say, this is the way I would like this plan to be directed. And this is the plan that I believe is going to be more important. And this is the way I believe these public funds are to be used. So I believe a planning and oversight committee is very important for Belmopan, and that is the way I want to move forward in terms of accountability.
Okay,
And
excellent.
of course, David, also would like to work very closely with agencies who have been spearheading and initiating good governance for many years. We have these agencies out there. Um, Sometimes I think they're feeling a little bit lonely, and I would like to be an elected official that is going to work hand in hand with these agencies that are really serious about good governance for Belize.
All right. So, all right. So let's move on to this next question. I need to know, is Bear really a family owned entity, Belmopan Active Youth? Because I have seen some information circling online that Bay is a family owned entity. Can you shed some light on that?
All right, so I have a very good close friend of mine. I would say she's a mentee, and or used to be. I think she still is, and she was also the former the former vice president for Bay, and we have been very close over the years. And she used to like to say, "No mess with Bay, because Bay da miss Anna baby." And so I do tend to get very defensive and protective over the organization Bay, and it's not just because I birthed it, but it's because of value of what it is to the community of Belmopan, and how needed it is, a community-based youth led organization. So let me just go back a little bit for clarity for those who may not know what we're talking about. So in around, let me see, 8 years ago, I was the youth leader for Belmopan Baptist Church for 4 consecutive years, and which would have been about 12 years ago. And during my time there, I noticed that leading the youth in the church building on Friday evenings, we used to have our meetings and activities, and young people from across Belmopan hearing some things happening, and and all that activity. They used to go by Brody's and hang out and come and peep over the fence and peep by the church door, and we couldn't get them to come in. I would go by the door and said, "Come on in, bring your friends, come in, bring your sister," and they wouldn't come in. And so I realized that idea birthed there when I realized that many young people, we have youth groups in Belmopan at that time, but they were mostly church based or attached to some organization, very very formal group settings, well structured. And so I thought, wow, this we need to get out of the church building if we really want to serve the most vulnerable, marginalized young people who are just hanging out, and they're needing some extra support. And that's where Bay was birthed. Bay was birthed from me being the youth leader at the Belmopan Baptist Church. And so I asked some of the same church kids to come with me and let's form a community-based youth group. And so I started the first meeting. I initiated the first meeting out at Independence Park, where we got the same young boys, young men, between ages, I would say maybe 13 and 20, teenagers, in fact. And they were hanging out, smoking, drinking, smoking weed, selling weed, and drinking. And I actually went to them and talked to them about what we want to do. Come over. This is what we're doing. And I guess they were more comfortable to join us in the park setting, and that's where they started. Um, Fast forwarding, we ended up, we not ended up, but we got registered as a youth organization with a board of directors who are named on our incorporated document at the company's registry here in Belmopan, and those are the names of the board members from young people across Belmopan. And those are not my family members. They're not my husband. My husband was never as I guess you're alluding to a Facebook post that I myself saw. My husband was never a part of the executive body of BAE. He was never on any formal documents for the organization. So that's just pure mischief and undermining of the work that I'm doing. I've always told the young people, and I keep telling the young people, and I don't have to tell the young people because just coming around BAE, you would realize that the young people of Belmopan are the owners and the beneficiaries of the Belmopan Active Youth.
Right. Great. And they have been, and I've also read another section of that post. Um, can you clarify? I believe you know exactly what area I'm talking about when it comes to issues with a land being in somebody
Oh,
else's name.
yes,
Yes.
I forgot
Like,
about that part. And so the mischief continues by saying that my husband and I had gotten lands in the name of BAE. Again, that is not true. And so one of the things that we have always been a very ambitious organization. And so one of the things that we had put together many years ago, the board of directors and the other committee heads had put together a youth center, which is supposed to be, it is an awesome plan. It was developed by Belmopan with the assistance of Belmopan's very own Robert Allen, who is an engineer here in Belmopan. And the plan to build that youth center, which is supposed to be an entrepreneurial and education center, with a component for temporary shelter for young people who are displaced, is it is on a waiting list at the um, social investment fund, and other similar organization that deals with these kinds of social development for different communities in Belize. So I'm hoping that pretty soon we will be getting some response. But in applying for that, obviously we had to have somewhere to build a center. And so, realizing that Recondev did a subdivision immediately behind the May Garden Park. So it's not at the park, as was alluded to in the post. It's behind the park. It's a land that was subdivided outside of the perimeters of the park. The park is not fenced. So
mhm.
that area we applied for and was granted a parcel of land.
Okay. All right. So that clears the air on that. And
And we're very thankful to the board of
yeah,
directors and to the then mayor for supporting the initiative of the Banopan Active Youth. And we're looking forward to build our youth center regardless of the outcome of this elections.
yeah. All right. Excellent. And as well, I knew you were pretty excited about a debate that was supposed to happen. It was every election there is usually a debate between all the contesting candidates, but that did not happen. Can you explain a bit about that?
Well, I was invited to a political debate by the Love Foundation. And of course, my team and I decided that it's a great opportunity. I myself, I like sharing my plans. I like to listen to ideas, and I like to question, and I like to answer questions. And so a debate is something that I know I would enjoy, a political debate. In fact, I encourage young people. When there is a debate by a school or organization, we travel for miles with the youth to take them to the debate room so that they can listen and learn. So a debate is something that I've always promoted, and I would not back down from that opportunity. Having accepted the debate, I learned that both major political parties, PUP and UDP, candidates for Belmopan, denied the opportunity, and they said that they're not going to be at the debate. At the time, I know of three candidates for Belmopan that said that to me, that said publicly that they're registered as candidates for vying for the area representative for Belmopan. Myself, the UDP and the PUP candidates, and so obviously I accepted the debate. The big debate. My team accepted the debate because we were expecting that the candidates would be present. A debate is not going to be. It doesn't make sense to attend a debate if you don't have the candidates in the debate room. And so, Love Foundation insisted that they wanted need to debate with another independent candidate who, even up to last night, said that he hasn't registered as a candidate as yet. So he's not really a candidate, but he might be a candidate. And so I didn't see, my team decided, I have a board of advisors, as I had mentioned earlier in the show, and we didn't feel it very beneficial for my campaign to enter a debate, um, apart from the debating with the candidates that have been registered to be a part of the competing for the representative seat.
Okay. Okay. Good. And we're winding down. I mean, we're running out of time here. We had a lot to say tonight, but I would like to ask. So, do you think currently how our government is running? Do you see that they are being transparent and accountable enough to the public?
Well, I think there's a lot to be desired in our country as it relates to transparency and accountability. Um, I feel that we have organizations externally, internationally, that have that are there to support and assist good governance. I feel we are not making the best use of those opportunities. I feel the government can do more, of course. Um, I think it's the role of the government to develop, implement, and strengthen existing plans, policies, and legislation that is going to be geared towards good governance, accountability, and transparency. People, I'm campaigning, I'm on the street. So, regardless of what I think, people are saying no, people are saying we are not there and we are not making serious strides in getting there in terms of accountability and transparency. Because people are looking at practical things, David. People are looking at things that they're seeing on the news, things that they're seeing before their eyes, and they are questioning these things. And they know. I mean, they know when there's corruption, and they know when there's not adequate action. Um, and people are saying that the government is not serious as it relates to accountability and transparency and the way in which it deals with or lack thereof in terms of corruption.
All right. Excellent. And so we're about to wind down, Miss Shanna. We're out of time, but I would like to ask, what final words do you have for your audience tonight? What would you like them to know tonight?
Well, I'm not sure if there are any questions, but I would like to ask the voters of Belmopan to please participate. You know, traditionally, our voter turnout is not as high as we would want it to be. I know the feeling that you probably had before now, not wanting to go to vote because you feel like you're just electing in and electing out um, the same group of plans and or lack thereof, or the same crowd, so to speak. Um, this is a time, especially for the constituencies that has are that are giving you another option. We have, apart from Belmopan, it's there's an independent movement happening across this country, and electorate all over should be looking at this. But particularly, obviously, I want to speak to my Belmopan electorate. Um, One of the things that I've been telling the young people all along, and I continue to say this, I know I'm saying it on my campaign trail, and I'm saying it to you now. When you go to the polls, you don't just go and follow a trail. By that I mean our grandfather, our father, or mother, wife, husband, whoever is going blue, and we go blue. And they're going red, and we go red because we feel we owe it to them. It's a part of who we are. I think that's kind of like it's not a smart way to vote, and it's not really helping us in any way or the next generation. And so I asked the voter to look at, when you're looking to elect a leader, you look at the character of a leader. Who is this leader? What does this leader stands for? What are her values? And you look at, that is good because you need a person with strong character, but that alone can't do it. You look at, who is this person? Because you could come off as if you have a good, strong character, and you could get references, but if we don't really know you, we don't know you. So you look for familiarity. how well has this person, how long has this person been around, how familiar is this person with the area this person wants to represent. Familiarity is key, but character and familiarity will not pull it off, David. We still need a leader that has the ability to deliver. And if you find all that in a leader, then that I believe that is how you should vote. And if you find those things lacking in a leader, then you really know that you are having the country to where it is, and you're contributing to the mess that we have been talking about. So the voter have a big power. The voter has the power to contribute to make a change or to contribute to keep what's happening. Belmopan electorate has this opportunity, and I am happy to report back to all of us that on my campaign trail, it's very pleasing to know that people are coming up to me, in fact, and saying, I'm listening to you, I'm following your campaign, and I will be supporting your candidacy. And Belmopan is going to have an independent candidate. So I believe the people, and I am looking forward to have a strong turnout for elections. I think Belmopan will be getting more people going to the polls, and I see that the plan that I have, which is the plan for hope and opportunities to Belmopan, is progressing very smartly during this in campaign time. People don't want a whole lot of thing, David. People want just
Mhm.
this. People want us to be ourselves, to be true to ourselves, and to be true to them. And everything else is going to fall in place as long as we have a plan. So that's about it. I don't know if we have any questions.
Yeah. Okay. We have this question here. We have a question from a viewer, Moshe Masuko. I believe I'm saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. The person is asking this guy, in the event you prevail, which party do you intend to caucus with in Parliament?
Well, I have worked in a mixed council before, so that really gave me the opportunity to exercise my skills in terms of negotiating and influence leaders across the board. I'm not running to join the PUP, and I'm not running to join the UDP. I'm running independent, and the people are electing me under that premise. So that's where I am now, and that's where I intend to continue to be. So, yeah, that's basically my response to that.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So we are totally out of time. I'd like to thank everybody who joined in tonight, and I will also like to invite you again next week, Thursday, same time, same place, as Miss Guy gets in depth in her manifesto point by point, right? So join us next week for another episode of Let's Talk About Change. So good night, Bangka.
Good night. Thanks.